One last look at the chords in E. I've got a couple more that I use quite a bit. The first one is a stacked fourth group. I play that with 2 fingers, and I'm playing 6th fret on the D and G strings, and then on the high B and E strings I'm playing 7th fret. Now that sits relative to this root E, so it kind of marks where it goes. I'll oftentimes play that chord with that root on the bottom. Again, if I put the low bass note with it, it has a really nice sound, useful and easy to finger. You can do the same thing on the 11th and 12th frets, and again our reference is the low E string on the 6th string. And I will oftentimes play that root on the bottom. I tend to play that, and I mute the 5th string with my finger. Just the angle of this finger tends to mute that string. So those are the same shape relative to a 5th string E and a 6th string E. And if you mix those up with all the other voicings, then you can stop on those. You'll see that there's some real similarities between this chord and some of the chords on the previous videos. Remember that our E major 7 chord in first inversion was that structure, and when I raised the E to an F sharp, I had this shape. And so this note and these two are the same, are part of that same stacked fourths. So I've just lowered one more note of that structure, and now I'm back to this stacked fourths. This is something you'd hear McCoy Tyner play on piano. So those can be mixed in with all of those other inversions and extensions that I showed on the previous 2 videos. The other that I use a lot is, I'm going to base this on an E bar chord, the upper 4 notes of what would be a full E bar chord at the 12th fret. At this point on the guitar, I've got root, 3rd, 5th, and a root on top. So the first thing I can do with this is lower the root on top, and now I've got a major 7 chord voiced, root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Now another thing that we can do with this is lower this 7th to a 6th just by extending that first finger down 2 frets. Now this works fairly well up the neck of the guitar, but whenever you're down in lower positions it's hard to make that reach. But you can add those chords. Here's the stacked fourths. Here's an E major 9 from the previous video. So the more of these things you have at your disposal, the more you can create these interesting little melodies using chords. I put a chromatic chord there to lead up to that E minor or E major 9. But again, very useful forms and easy to add those to the palette of things that we did on those previous 2 videos. So try that.